All right, welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving straight into the mechanics of a truly magnetic personality trait. We spend so much time analyzing how people work, how they think, and how they process raw data. But today we're looking at how certain people process connections. We are breaking down the anatomy of a literal social superpower.
So, I want you to picture that one person in your office right now. You absolutely know the one I'm talking about. They seem to know everyone's name, from the CEO all the way down to the new intern who literally just started yesterday. Or, maybe ask yourself if you personally get a rush from talking to complete strangers on an airplane, while everyone else is just throwing on their noise-canceling headphones. If you're nodding your head right now, you are already intimately familiar with the energy we're unpacking today.
Actually, the whole baseline operating system of this trait can be summed up in just one brilliant mindset. A stranger is just a friend I haven't met yet. Where some people see a room full of strangers as a threat, or at least a massive drain on their energy, people with this trait see pure possibility. They see potential in absolutely every single interaction. Okay, so this trait actually has a name, and it's perfect. It's called WOO. It stands for winning others over. It's a theme characterized by loving to meet new people, building really quick connections, and actually being energized by social interaction. It means naturally knowing exactly how to break the ice and make a total stranger feel comfortable and included within seconds.
So here's our agenda for today's Explainer. We'll start by meeting the woo, then we'll elevate to the balcony to check out those social superpowers before heading down into the basement to uncover their hidden blind spots. After that, we'll explore what they need to thrive, and finally, look at some theme contrasts to really lock it all in.
Let's jump right into Section 1. Meet the woo, the social connector.
So what does it actually mean to be the social connector in a group? Well, it's like an energetic cycle. Discover, activate, thrive. They don't just passively exist in a social space, they activate it. They use stories, humor, and just immense relational energy to make any environment feel alive. They're the ones who initiate the interactions that eventually build into these massive, broad social networks.
Now, if you bring someone with high woo onto your team, you can expect some rapid-fire contributions right out of the gate. They instantly add warmth and connection to the workplace. And notice how these aren't just your standard, nice-to-have soft skills. Building broad networks of relationships and helping others feel valued, those are critical drivers for team cohesion and business development. They connect people with incredible ease, bridging gaps between different departments or client groups that might otherwise literally never interact.
Moving on to Section 2, the balcony, which is all about social superpowers.
Let's look at how this all builds into their absolute highest potential. The source material cleverly calls this the balcony. When they're standing on that balcony, when their talents are fully matured and positively applied, people with woo possess the superpower of being completely socially magnetic. They create incredibly positive relational energy wherever they go. And it's not an accident either. It's a very intentional practice of noticing and engaging others. They have this built-in radar for the person in the room who feels left out, and they possess the exact toolkit needed to pull that person into the fold effortlessly.
Now, shifting gears to Section 3, the basement, where we cover those hidden blind spots.
Because, every bright light casts a shadow, right? When unmanaged or when the environment is wrong, this incredible social superpower can turn into kryptonite. There's a real cause and effect here. Because woos naturally move so incredibly fast from one conversation to the next, the impact on the other person can occasionally be negative. They can unintentionally leave others feeling unseen, superficial, or emotionally disconnected. Their rapid openness, which they entirely intend as a warm welcome, can just completely overwhelm and alienate more reserved personalities. And it's absolutely crucial to recognize these basement struggles not as malice or, bad intentions, but just as the direct side effects of moving way too fast socially. When you are always hunting for that next connection, you might really struggle to build deeper relationships with the people who are already standing right in front of you. You might overlook someone's need for a slow, quiet warm-up before diving into a super fast-paced conversation.
Okay, Section 4. What woo needs to thrive? So, how do we actually get the best out of this personality type? How do we mitigate those blind spots? Well, to keep a woo out of the basement and securely up on the balcony, you really have to look at their environment. They require a space filled with variety and the fundamental freedom to engage broadly with others. If you lock a woo in a solitary cubicle with a spreadsheet for 40 hours a week, their energy is going to completely wither. They absolutely need dynamic, people-centered environments where networking and conversation aren't just allowed, but are actively celebrated as a huge part of the job. Finally, let's wrap things up with Section 5, Theme Contrasts.
Sometimes contrast is honestly the best teacher. When we compare the woo and the relator themes, the difference in social architecture is just night and day. A woo prioritizes the incredible breadth of a network, knowing 500 people on a first-name basis. A relator, on the other hand, prioritizes the depth of it, knowing maybe 5 people so well they trust them with their lives. And neither is wrong, but understanding this difference is key to knowing exactly why a woo moves the way they do. They are optimizing for reach, not always depth.
We can also see a really fascinating difference when comparing woo to competition. It's a subtle play on words here, but man, it proves a massive point about motivation. Woo is about winning others over, getting them to like you, building rapport, expanding the network. Competition is about winning over others, beating them, coming in first place. This proves that woo is motivated purely by relational engagement and connection, not by dominating the room or defeating an opponent. They just want everyone to be on the exact same team.
So, as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a question to really chew on. Whether you possess this superpower of social magnetism yourself, or maybe you manage someone who does, you now have the blueprint. You know how to elevate them to the balcony and exactly how to keep them out of the basement. And let's be honest, the world needs this connective energy more than ever right now. So, how will you use your woo to build a better network today? Thanks for exploring this with me, and keep learning.